It may not be. Ian says, what are the differences you find between intensively watching a game with a view to writing a piece on it and actually commentating on the game? And which do you enjoy more? Yeah, it's very, very different. I think when you are, so when you're commentating, it depends on the commentary shift. If I'm doing a cheap commentary, and it depends on the commentary job as well. If I'm doing ball by ball, I'm probably on for 20 minutes out of every hour. And if I'm working for someone who doesn't have a lot of employees, I'm probably on for 30 minutes every hour. That's really intense. You see everything and you have to be on top of every single thing, which means you do watch the game in a way that is very hard to replicate if you're not commentating. You're watching the game on a level where you're terrified you're going to get something wrong, and that you're not going to have something to say. So you're really focusing in on it. If I'm doing co-commentary, that's a little bit different. Co-commentary is a little bit more chilled. That's when you have the ability to sort of think and stretch your brain a little bit more. You're not worried about having to fill every single silence or anything of in that particular way. You're probably thinking more answering questions, maybe looking some stuff up, whatever that may be. Then the third job that I also do when I'm commentating is analysis, which is much more like writing. So I'll get to that. So writing is the way that I've covered cricket the most. And I don't have one style that when, on a writing day, I don't just do this or this. So I have different styles. In fact, if you want to do my sports writing course, you'll see that there are many different ways that I kind of follow a game during a game, depending on what I might want to write, how I'm feeling, what I think the stories are, how the game is unraveling in front of me. But it's very different writing because I can get up and I can move around. I can have a lot of micro conversations. So I think some of my best pieces probably come from, I've got this idea. Now I need to know what, because you'll have like former players around. You'll have old timey journalists around. You'll have hardcore beat writers. You'll have other writers like you around, in my case, some more writers like me around. You can bounce ideas off different people. That's really different than commentary. But also in commentary, you have that 20 minutes of hardcore watching, but you need a release from that. And sometimes it can almost be hard to focus on watching the cricket for the next 40 minutes because, it's almost like it's all in your brain. There are many commentators who literally they do their 20 minutes and then they spend 40 minutes following the cricket, but not watching it just because they need that break to have the energy to come back again. So they're very different. I think probably the perfect for me is when I'm doing the analysis stuff for TalkSport, just because it's thinking like a cricketer, but with the ability to use all the things that I, the little bits that I say. It's probably why I started writing more notes pieces on my emailer, is because there are little bits during the day that I really want to say, but I was always trained to write the article in one big thing. And so you have to cut out all the bits that don't fit the article. So the analysis thing allows me to follow the game really closely, but also still do other work, still have conversations with everyone off microphone, and still write and research and, talk to CricViz and to Gary Morgan, our statistician, and anyone, my friends, send WhatsApps to someone like, Dan Breddig's out at, well, actually, I was going to say Dan Breddig's out at the India, Australia, but, Vish or Wigmore or Will McPherson or whoever's out, or, George, whoever's out there, send them a message, and Rory, all those sorts of people. So, it's very, very different. I think I probably prefer the middle role. It probably suits me the best because I do love broadcasting, but I also love writing. So it's almost like a combination of the two. But my paths are really different. Most people only ever get to choose one and then they do it and then they know what that is. Whereas I bounce around every different style of of following a cricket game, from sitting on the bench with the players, all the way through to, working on the broadcast.